Hey guys, this is Paul, and just here to kind of ask you guys for some help. You're getting this video because you're a leader, and so I'm sitting here in my office. We're planning and going through what this sermon series is going to look like called Heritage. I'm here. You can see Pastor Albert's in here. He shares an office with me. He's just being a hoodlum like he normally is. But as we go through this, we're going through this series, which we're very, very excited about, called Heritage. You received a card, and what this basically is about is we're trying to look at what made the first century church so unique. What helped them to be so incredibly successful? How can this first century movement really change our 21st century culture? And so you're getting this video because we need your help with this. As we walk through this series, the thoughts behind what we're doing here is we really want people to think right now during this time of transition. We know people are thinking of who's going to come in, who's going to lead us, who's going to be the next guy, who's going to help lead this church into the future. And so a lot of our thoughts are kind of forward-looking into the future. Who will come in? Well, during this series, what we want to do is say, well, what are we now? Who are we now? And not who is going to lead me, but who am I now as a church member? And so what do we want to be characterized as a church member? I want to be just like the New Testament church. I want to be bold. I want to be generous. I want to be unified, and I want to be willing to make sacrifices to reach people. So those are the kind of characteristics we're going to walk through, really trying to focus people's minds on not who's coming, and not that that's bad. That's good. We need to be praying for that and thinking about that. But who can I be now, personally? What's my obligation? What should I be aiming for right now in this time of transition? What do I want to be characterized as a church member? So as we walk through this, our response time is going to look a little different than normal. We're going to call the whole church to respond. We want everybody to respond and say, like for this Sunday, is it going to be about boldness, how the New Testament church was very bold in their message, and anytime they got any opposition, that they prayed for boldness. And so we want people to think about that and to respond when they hear that message and how that church was characterized like that they could say, I need to be bold. I need to have courage when I'm at my workplace. And so what we're going to ask the church to do is respond in two ways. The first one is by singing an entire song. So we're going to have a song of response that kind of talks about a declaration of boldness. God, we're not afraid to be bold. God, we're not embarrassed by your message of your death and resurrection. So the first way to respond is the whole church just singing together, singing a response back to God right after the message. The second way is prayer. And this kind of breaks down in two ways. We're going to ask people to respond as just an outworking of the posture of their heart. So if they feel like, I need to be more bold, I need to have more courage in my life when it comes to being a witness for Jesus Christ, what we're going to ask them to do is to not only sing, but to pray. And in a posture of prayer and kind of a symbol of response is to come forward and pray. So come to the front of the church there, right there by the steps, right there by the stage. Come forward for two things, either to be prayed for or to be prayed with, be prayed for or just to pray. So pray to ask for prayer, to be prayed with someone, so someone to come alongside of you and say, okay, let's pray together for boldness. Or just a posture of saying, hey, I want to just personally before the Lord show my surrendering heart to this. And just as a symbol of that, I just want to go forward and just kneel maybe and pray. So they could come forward to be prayed for or just to pray themselves. Now, here's where you help us out. Is you as leaders, you set the atmosphere of the church. And so if we want to create an atmosphere of response, we need your help. So the first thing I'm asking you to do is, would you just be sensitive, extra sensitive to if God is moving you to come forward either to receive prayer, to pray with somebody, or to pray yourself. So all I'm asking you to do is kind of this Sunday is to think about that. Or if you go to our Saturday service, to think, okay, maybe God's going to speak to me in a fresh way and I need to respond and just give a symbol of that by coming forward and praying and say, God, give me boldness. The second way you could help us out, so not only just being sensitive to what God's going to do for you, is just to be mindful of people who might need prayer. And so if you see that we have counselors up front, they're praying with people, and you see that there's a line of people who want to be prayed for, there's just an over response, which is a good thing. Again, we're going to have the whole song to do that time of response. If you see there's a need for somebody to have somebody else to pray with them, I ask you to just come forward. As a life group leader, as a table leader, as the leader that you are, we trust you to pray with people. So we just ask you to be mindful if you're sitting back and you're singing this song, just to look and see, okay, does God want me to go forward to pray for myself or to be prayed for? And if people are just responding in a really good way and we see a lot of response, just to be mindful of, okay, I'm going to go forward and I'm just going to kind of make myself available. Just stand there if anybody else needs prayer. If all the other people already have somebody they're praying with and there's not somebody there to pray with somebody who's come forward, that you would come forward too. Again, we're hoping this is going to be a really great time of response. We think that this is going to be a really cool series as we walk through it these next 4 weeks, to really just focus our minds not on what is coming, but what is right now. And what are we supposed to do right now? And we hope that as the message goes out, that our church, that Non-Advent Christian Church, will respond in a visible way of just coming forward and saying, okay, I'm here to receive prayer, and I want God to give me great boldness. And I'm hoping we see kind of a first century impact right now in our 21st century. Thank you guys for your help of just being extra sensitive to what maybe God is going to do, and just being mindful and helping us out and being great counselors. You're great people. Again, thank you for taking this time to watch this video, and we just pray that God's going to do something great and awesome with our services throughout this series.